So like, if I'm just zone me out if you want. I just have to explain this really quickly because I'm leaving soon. And I promised these guys a build, and here's the build I've come to deliver. I'm going to my mum's house for Christmas because I haven't done it in a long time. Yes, I will give her the Merry Christmas from the bees. But yes, from the Smiths. But without further ado, here is the fucking build for you guys. I'm sorry it took so long, but I've just been really busy, and like I wanted to put an actual video out where it was enjoyable to watch, had like some nice editing and shit like that, but I just don't have the time right now. So I know you guys just want the build so you can work with it. There's tons of different variations of this, so like it's not like you have to run it specifically this style. This is just the way that I've come to liking it for most situations. Other situations I'll play it in different styles, but for the majority of the time it's like this. And by like change out variations of it, I mean you can change out the helmet and shoulder combo. You can change out the back weapons if you have the back weapons that you would need to put there for this. And then on top of that, you would need the hello Kel. And on top of that, you can change from dual wield to a sword and board. I wouldn't try this with a bow. I just think that'd be stupid if they were both out. But for most of the time, you're going to be a 2H and dual wield. That's how I prefer to do it. And you can see I've got 18.1k. I think it's 18.1. Yeah, 18.1k health. I've got my undaunted passive and shit like that. I'm not going in, so obviously it's going to be a little bit higher. I do have another version of this build, just in heavy armor, where you change up the attribute points, and instead of having them all into stam, like most of the time everyone does, I've taken them out and put 51 in here and then 11 in here. And believe it or not, it actually works. You can end up walking around with 36k health, still 33k stam, and still keep the same damage, or basically the same damage on your weapon damage, just a tiny drop because of the stamina pool. But the healing's almost the same as well. It's just if you want to have a giant health pool, you can actually play it like that if you change up these things. It doesn't really affect this build too much. Specifically because I'm an Argonian and I have tripods. So like if I ever need to, I can just burn myself down to nothing, hit a pot, and I can burn myself down to nothing again, and then hit my ult. So like, it's literally a restart, and that's on your stam and health. So just remember that. You don't really need to have a shitload of recovery because you're a DK. You can abuse the fact that you've got passives and Argonian passives that all work in conjunction to getting your shit back. But anyway, the setup. You're gonna have the gear. Is how I like to run it anyway. 2 swords of Hundins. You're gonna have Nirnhoned on the front, infused on the other one, so obviously you get the extra weapon damage. I use shock so I can increase my damage on people. I've got a sword because if you're a DK you can use them all, but you don't really need them all because I've stacked penetration in my CP, so right now I'm using the sword for extra damage in the front bar just to instantly nuke people. 1 Balor, 1 Kenner. I've tested this out, and at the moment, because I haven't got a divine piece of Troll King, I think with my Mundus, a divine piece of Troll King would give me a slightly better heal, but this gives me better all-round damage and a better heal at the moment, so like, as long as I have 2 divine pieces of this to go with my Mundus, it works well. Hulkin, Impen, go for triglyphs on like at least 1 piece or 2 pieces just to get it up a little bit further. Sometimes I even wear this helmet here, the infused Selene, and I'll put on the 1 light here. That's what I mean by different variations. You can put that on and then swap out the hands I have here for heavy hands instead of medium hands, and then that way I keep up the 5-1-1. Oops. Yeah, I keep up the 5-1-1 and my stamina goes up a little bit more. So just check that out. I have no recovery, I hate that glitch. But yeah, it's gone up a little bit more and my health's gone up a little bit more. So now I'm at 19.1 and there we go. But for the most part I still prefer to run 1 battle and 1 any 2 pieces of damage. So it's going to be 2 pieces of damage, Hulkin and Hundings. And let me just make sure that I've got my 5-on-1. I don't. So damn it. Okay, so I'm gonna, doesn't matter right now, I'm just gonna do this for my 5-on-1. Okay, so I've got my heavy there, I've got my light there, and I've got the rest all medium. Okay, then you've got your Hulkin jewelry, none infused, all weapon damage, because you want to try and keep up your, I mean not weapon damage, all robust. You want to try and keep up as much stam as possible with this, because Argonians lack on stam, so Hulkin with that is going to help you out. You don't really need the infused, this is about bursting and having good heals. 1 infused I think would be good for like a little bit of extra burst, but you're just going to lose your stam quicker, not worth it. Because then you've got to hit a pot or your ult quicker to get it back if you don't have the opportunity to heavy attack. So Hulkin on the jewelry, Hundings for the feet, hands, belt, Hulkin on the chest and legs again. If you want to swap it around, you could do like different pieces, like the Hulkin here, and then heavier here if you're going for heavy builds. give you better resistances. But then these stats here, it seems like a pretty basic build. But then with the CP and this Argonian setup, it works really well. So like, I'll just check out my my Vigor here, standing here in PvE. You can see that I'm in East March. I have no buffs, like no continuous or anything like that. I haven't light attacked anything. But I'm just gonna go like this. Bam, check that. 22.8. So let's say if I light attack something, that's gonna go up to what, about 23.8? Let's check it. $24.7. Alright, so that's, let's just say that's 25k for the sake of a round number. If I was at a flag and I took, I got the continuous, that'd give me an extra, what, another 2,000 on it, so it'd be about 27 now. And then if I'm standing by a keep, you get the by the keep buff. So it would be 27 with your light attack and continuous, and then you go into the keep and it would be beyond 30. As long as like you have your igneous up, obviously. But I mean, even when you don't have your igneous up, it's 18, and like that's basically what my normal vigors look like on my other characters. Maybe even a little bit better. And this isn't weak. This isn't just like you walk around and heal. Check out the damage on it. You've got a good claw. You've got a good blood craze. You've got your leap, obviously, which is going to be your finisher. You've got your uppercut. All of this shit is still hitting hard, like very hard. I mean, even standing here in PvE, my full momentum tick is 1A if I'm fully buffed. If I get fully buffed in a keep and all my continuous and all that kind of shit, that actually ticks good enough to swap out your rally. Like I way prefer using rally. Rally is like my savior, but this shit here is actually good enough to use now if you have all of these heals going. And I'm using the Ritual Mundus for an extra 11% healing done, which isn't a lot, but then you couple that with being an Argonian, and then you put your CP into, which I'm going to show you now, a little bit into Blessed. It really works out. It's not like you're struggling anywhere to keep 10% into Blessed. So 10% into Blessed, massively important. That, with all of this setup and everything, it's going to work real well. You want 15% into your Master Arms for your leap, your uppercut, your claw, your rendering, just to give you that little bit of extra single target pressure. And then for your heavy attacks, I just use that because I had spare points. I'm always heavy attacking anyway, so I might as well make it hurt a bit more. Oh shit, as well as in werewolf form. I did not know that. Wow. That's new. That didn't say in werewolf form before the last update. 13% there. You got your penetration there. It's not a lot, but it's enough. And then you've got your 20% for good crit heals. That's what you definitely want. That's how you get like a 4k vigor tick, actually, like in combat. And Thaumaturge. Thaumaturge, just, you know, you always want to have a little bit for your claw and your rendering. You've got your 20% into Ironclad for crit resistance, for direct damage resistance. You've got 9/11, you know, always remember, down there in your actual crit resistance. And then for medium, you're at 3,315 because DKs get a passive naturally in, I think it's in here? No, it's in this one, where they get 3,200 spell resistance. So there's no need to put anything into there. You can just counter that so that it's even, because you never want to be uneven. Some people want to stack more into spell resistance, but like, I try and keep it even, that way you can play it very well. You haven't really got to worry about specifically anything, you just treat everyone kind of the same. Back into the champion points. So that was the blue tree. So just to go over it quickly again, we've got 43 there, one there was just a spare. Oh shit, that should be somewhere else. I don't know why that's there. 43 there, 30, 37, 23, 56, put the extra point in there, so 17 there, and 64 there. Then we've got your 20% medium here, crit resistance. 10, 10, 20. Real easy. 10, 10, 20. For dots over time, obviously, so you don't have to try and like struggle cleansing and shit like that. And then here you've got your 10 and 10 just to even it out and get unchained. So when you break free, you can have like a vigor that costs 200. Nothing in there, nothing that matters there. Warlord 20%, Sprinter 1 minute. I'm doing something. Oh sorry. 10% into Sprinter. You've got Mooncalf 10% into stand recovery, 8% into magic recovery, and 10% into tenacity. You've got your 56 into tumbling. For 20% because you're going to be rolling a lot more than blocking, unless you're using the sword and board, and then you can swap that over. But that's what I use for dual wield. So that would be that for the CP setup. besides that, really, it's just about a variation of what you wanted to change in yourself. You could either change out the hat for a hat of Hundings and a shoulder of Hundings with one light, one medium, keep on the heavy there, and then take off the dual wield on this bar, put on, if you have them, Black Rose Perfected, and then on this bar put on your Asylum. Oh shit, my Asylum's in the bank. But basically you'd have your Asylum weapon on this bar to generate more ult. You'd have your 5 Hundings on at all times, your 5 Hulking on at all times. Except now you've got the major protection from Blade Cloak. So, and that's just one variation of it. If you wanted to, you could then change it out for, let's say you like being real tanky and playing with your friends, but you like to have damage as well. 1 medium, 1 light, keep on the heavy there. Instead of having the dual wield, now you swap it out and put on 1 infused sword of Hulking, 1 shield, put back on the, depends on what you want to use. I prefer a sword over a maul, especially on a DK. But now I think I've got passives in sword and board. Just double check. Yep. Just go into here, check that, and like that's real nice stats for a sword and board. Like I'm at 40k. I've got real good, like, and still it hasn't really affected all my heals either. Like, I'm still at a 20k vigor with the sword and board, and my medium almost put me up at 24k resistances on both nearly. So I don't know. You guys have seen the variations of the build now. Like, you've got a chance to go out there and try what you want to do. Just like hit up in the comments and let me know exactly what's working best, because I'm curious as well. Fuck me, I got a dry mouth. I'm curious as well to see which is working out best. But my preference is definitely the 2H, the dual wield. Hundings on that bar, Hundings on that bar, with the 2 damage on the helmet and shoulder, 5 Hulking and 5 Hundings. But you let me know how it works out for you. And as always, peace motherfuckers, and have a lovely Christmas. Now, end this shit right here. Broadcast.